Well, this is awkward. Hello and welcome back to Pokemon Legends Arceus. You may notice immediately that something is different. And that's because I recorded a whole 30 minutes of the next story beats, only to realize I hadn't pressed record. So this is my practice file I'm on. I basically powered through at the expense of doing all of the requests and catching some Porygons in order to get back here just so that I can re-record the story beats. As you can see, my party is very similar to where it was in the other, or in my main file, so I mean, you're really not missing a whole lot. It's just gonna be a little awkward for this one episode. Now that said, I'm gonna bring Sylveon out. These Pokemon do not have nicknames. You can consider them the weird second cousins thrice removed of of Kenny, Leslie, and Badun. Now that said, this might end up being a short episode because I don't plan on catching any of the Pokemon that I spent time catching in my regular file, but I will point out where they are and how many I've caught. This is mainly just going to be trying to get through the story beats so that I can resume playing on my regular file. Ah, if it isn't Red Willow. Though I suppose it's to be expected that I run into you in the village. Where are you going to study Pokemon next? I mean, in general, it is the Cobalt Coastlands. Oh, the Cobalt Coastlands. Polina's certainly in a bit of a situation over there. She's a warden, and yet she has no noble to see to. There are even some people in the Pro Clan that speak ill of her, though not to her face. Oh, but do forgive me. Perhaps I shouldn't be airing dirty laundry. A piece of advice, then, as an apology for wasting your time. Some Pokemon are strongly affected by certain stones, which hold mysterious power. With the right stone, you can evolve some Pokemon, and in my original attempt at recording this, I was kind of surprised because the timing of this conversation was very, very well placed. You need look no further than Cleaver for proof of that. What I'm trying to say is basically this. If you and the Survey Corps want to learn all there is to know about the Pokemon of this region, then the stones you find throughout Hisui will be very important. There's even a tale of a stone that contains the power of creation, the very same power Almighty Sinnoh used to create the universe. I trust you'll take my advice to heart and not underestimate how important stones can be. To help grind this fact into you, here, I'll give you some rather handy stones and things I found. Grit Pebbles and Grit Gravel. And should you want some stones that can help guide or help Pokemon evolve, I believe the Ginkgo Guild has them from time to time. And that is true. Occasionally the Ginkgo Guild does have evolution stones available, but to be honest and truthful, I find it easier to get evolution items through merit points. Anyway, wait, hold up, I'm getting ahead of myself. It was at this point after that conversation that I used the shiny stone I had bought on my Badun. So this is not Badun's evolution, but I didn't want you to miss out on seeing a Roselia evolve anyway. So how about we have Badun's second cousin thrice removed, evolve instead. And now, we have a Roserade. And let's see. Change moves. And I changed up the moves of Badun quite a bit. So it just learned Thorny Blooms. And for some reason it already has that. So I switched out Poison Dart for Thorny Blooms. Roserade is a special attacker, as you can see here. So I figure it was better. Giga Drain stayed. I switched poison powder for stun spore, and I did put in poison jab for Venoshock, because I do like having some moves that are physical and some moves that are special. So I believe this is how I had it set up for Badun. Okay. Now with that, let us move forward to the beachside camp at the Cobalt Coastlands. Ah, the Cobalt Coastlands. A simply lovely corner of Hisui. Sea and sky as far as the eye can see. What kinds of Pokemon await us here, I wonder? Water types? Or flying types, perhaps? Oh, I simply can't wait to find them all. Or study them all, excuse me. Now, I'm sure you're just as excited as I am to research this area's Pokemon, but let's not forget that you've a mission to accomplish. So, any questions before you get started? How about Fire Spit Island, our ultimate destination in this region? Not region, area, sorry. The region is Hisui, the area is the coastlands. Indeed. Fire Spit Island is an offshore volcano. You'll need to cross the sea to reach it. I'd advise you to speak to a fellow called Iskan. He's one of the Diamond Clan's wardens and will surely help you find your way. So right here, we have essentially two paths. We can come down this way and go to the left, or we can come down this way and go to the right. The story is going to lead us to the left, and that is where we're going to head for today. But first, we have Irida here to speak with. Now, why can't I play my flute like that? I do love the flute. It feels as if its tones carry to the very ends of space. But I am here, and so are you, and now I'm going to focus everything I have on battling you. Why? I need to understand my weaknesses. Please do this for me. Okay, I'm game. Very good. You who have seen the vast space beyond the rift, here I come. So it's Glaceon versus Sylveon. Now I am going to take out this Eevee first and foremost. Regular. That way I can rid myself of superfluous damage for the most part. Ow. Ow. And knock out the Eevee. Turn my attention to the Glaceon. Oh, you're gonna knock out the Sylveon, aren't you? Well, at least it's not Leslie. But good to know that Leslie's second cousin thrice removed has the same luck. Rose Raid. You are not going to be able to do anything because grass is weak to ice. Okay, how about we finish off the Glaceon the same way I did in my previous attempt at this, with a Ponyta. I'll hit it once with a regular, and let me see. Ooh, okay, and now with a light, And I should be able to follow it up with a strong. And that should be more than plenty to bring it down. Gotta love Ponyta's speed. Yeehaw! Now I feel better. The world is vast and I am small within it. Thank you. Allow me to heal your Pokemon. Alright, with you, I think I can be frank. I can't afford to look weak in front of the Diamond Clan's leader or your commander, but in truth, I sometimes wonder how I've ended up with the burdens I bear. You see, we have a warden in the coastlands, a lovely woman named Polina. But she tends no lord or lady, and she will not raise a successor to fill the late lord's empty seat either. Some people have started to question her worthiness to be a warden at all. But Lena, that is to say Polina, she's very dear to me, no matter what anyone might say. We were both in the running to become leader of the Pearl Clan. We strove to surpass one another, but she taught me a great deal too. Having said all this, I have a favor to ask of you. Please help her raise the Pokemon she looks after into a true heir to his father, the late lord. With the help of your strength, I think our late lord's heir would grow into a worthy successor. And if he succeeds, it should silence Lena's naysayers. I don't know of anyone I'd trust to help with this more than the person who helped the Pearl Clan by quelling Cleaver's frenzy. You'll be able to find Lena up on the headland. Head down this hill and turn left. You should find a slope leading up onto the ridge. Okay. So over here are Glameow, the Pokemon that the guy looking for a spring-tailed Pokemon was looking for. I caught 2 of these because the guy didn't want to keep one, so he just wanted to be shown one. This Rolly guy here is Spheal. I caught 3 of them. This here is, if I can pick it up, a Pop Pod, and I went across the coast and picked up, I think, 6 of these in total. These here are Skorupi. I caught 2, one for the Skorupi and one for the Drapion, which there's an alpha of right there. Coming along this way, let me see if I can get through here. Yep, there's an Alpha Machoke there. Not really anything of interest. There were a couple of satchels around down here that I picked up along the way, but nothing too much. Over there is an Alpha Octillery, and that's about the extent of interesting things down here. So coming back this way, now where is the entrance to the upper area? I think it's right up here. Yes. So coming up this way are, let's see, some more Pokemon. There wasn't a distortion up this way, and so I'm not going to bother trying to play or mess around inside of one right now. Coming along through here, let's see. This guy has a request, and since you didn't see it before, I will show it to you now. Oh, aren't you the Survey Corps member who quelled the Lady of the Ridge? Well, listen to this. A couple of Apoms stole my pack full of goods. They've been darting around leading me on a chase, almost like they're teasing me. I haven't got a hope of catching them. They must be used to dealing with Pokemon, or you must be used to dealing with Pokemon. Can you get my pack back from those Apom? I did not do this request, I merely picked it up. So I will do it in my regular file later. Coming along through here. Let's see, are any gonna spawn over here right now? It doesn't look like it. Around here were 2 Vulpix, an orangish fox Pokemon. I caught 2 of them, one of which is going to be on my team eventually, but I didn't add it yet because I will need 3 in total. And I want to use the best of those 3. There was also, let's see, an Alpha Perugly back there, the evolution of Glameow. There was also a Hisuian form, yeah, a couple of Hisuian form Growlithe, which I caught 2 of. And I stated that I would love to use them in my party, but went with Vulpix ultimately because coming up here, you will find that Hisuian and Growlithe are an important part of the story, and thus I did not choose to use them.
Ever?
Hush now, settle down. I am Polina of the Pearl Clan, and who might you be? Ah, so you're that child from the Galaxy team. I heard how you aided Cleaver and Lilligant when none other could quell their frenzy. Your strength must be amazing, and yet you have such a gentle face. What brings you to the Cobalt Coastlands? We have no lord here, much less a frenzied one for you to quell. Our previous lord was swallowed by the waves. He was rescuing his young pup that had been swept out to sea and ended up giving his life to ensure the pup's safe return. If you were to guess, which of these Growlithe would you say is the previous lord's child? Well, the big one barked at me, so I'm going to say a little one. Oh, you have quite a good eye. This quiet, skittish Growlithe is the child of the previous lord. I've no doubt this little one has the potential to be a fine lord, but witnessing his father's demise has left deep scars in his heart. There are those who expect me to train him more strictly and force leadership upon him before he is ready, but I could never bring myself to do that. No matter what the rest of the Pearl Clan says, my mind is quite made up. I'll stay by this little one's side and let him live his life as he wishes. So, now that you know our situation, might I ask your purpose in coming to the coastlands? So, Irida did ask me to help the heir, but ultimately my purpose in coming here was to check out Firespit Island. A survey of Firespit Island. I see. There are rumors the place is haunted by strange shadows these days. You'll need the aid of a Pokemon known as Basculegion if you wish to cross the sea. You should speak to Iskan, a ward of the Diamond Clan. He should be able to help you. There is definitely something strange happening out on Firespit Island. Those shadowy figures are concerning, of course, but then there's also the odd lightning that came from the rift in the sky. Lightning is a sign that the heavens are angry. I worry that we may have offended Almighty Sinnoh somehow. In the past, the Pearl Clan and Diamond Clan were locked in conflict over which side revered the true Almighty Sinnoh. Even if we've reached an uneasy peace, the true Almighty Sinnoh must be angered because there are still those who worship a false image of it. But I digress. I do apologize. Iskan lives on Apom Hill, just past Ginkgo Landing. I imagine you'll find him there. So we have our next objective, which is to talk to Iskan about Basculegion so that we can cross the water. But before then, hey Thank you. I'm going to catch this little art unknown. Now, with that out of the way, I did like 1.5 more things. I came along here, staying wary of the side of the cliff. Hopped up here, came along here. Now, right up here is a rather interesting location for me personally, because I was running along here in my very first playthrough of this game, and I happened to miss a button, and I jumped on Weird Air, straight down there, and I died. And that is how I first ever died in this game, was a missed jump straight off a cliff. So yeah, do be careful when running around up here. Now, I am going to avoid the distortion because, again, I didn't check one out while I was playing the first time through here. But I instead came through here, and at the time I was missing a Hisuian Growlithe, so I came over here and picked one up around here. And with that, I should be all caught up in what I had been doing. So to recap, caught some Pokemon down here, came up here, talked to Polina, got the R, came over here, caught my Growlithe. And now we should be basically all caught up. Now this is a very short episode, and I'm sorry that you didn't get to see my live reactions and things, but this was the best that I could do. And again, I am sorry that you missed out on all of that. But now you at least know the story up to this point, and in the next episode we will be back on my regular save file with my regular party. And we will be heading from the beach on over to our next objective, trying to find Iscan. And for that, I will see you in the next episode. Bye!